Jana is the Deputy Director for Operations at the Tucson Pamoja Project, funded by the United States Agency for International Development. They aim to improve the reading and mathematical skills of children in grades 1 to 4 in public schools in Tanzania. She provides operational management and ensures quality and timely operational support for program activities. She's also responsible for finance and administration. Welcome.
Thank you. So I'm going to talk about my current job, but I also want to talk to you a little bit about how I got to where I am, because it wasn't, I took a different path to get to where I am than one might expect. Have any of you ever gone down one path and ended up somewhere totally different than where you thought you would end? So that's how I fell into my career. When I was in university, I was studying biology. At this point, I was a junior at university, and I realized I don't want to be a biologist after all. So I went back home, and I went to the French department, the Romance language department, and I convinced them to give me some credit for the biology courses I had taken in French in Madagascar. And I switched my major to French language, much to my father's displeasure. "What are you going to do with a degree in French?" he said. So I graduated with my French degree, not knowing what I would do for a job. I applied for a job that was supporting international development programs, health programs overseas. And lo and behold, they needed someone who could speak French to support their programs in West Africa. So it was that language that opened a door for me. And so that's what I want you to keep in mind. You may think, oh, they make me take these languages in school and I don't like them, but languages open doors for you. And it's been time and time again, it has helped me in my career because I can support programs that other people in my profession can't because they don't have the language skills. So in the sector of international development, like I said, I was working from the United States, but I was supporting programs funded by the US government to improve the lives of people in other countries. So when I began my career, I was supporting health programs, maternal and child health, family planning, but I was supporting them from financial, doing their budgets, their finances, helping them with compliance with a lot of the regulations that the US government puts on us. So I learned over time how to manage those contracts and how to support the field teams. And then in January of 2016, my current organization won a project in Tanzania, which has the goal of improving Tanzanian children's ability to read and write in public schools in Tanzania. This project operates in 5 regions of Tanzania, including Morogoro, Mtwara, Zanzibar, Ruvuma, Iringa. What does operations mean to you all? My dad worked in operations too, and when my friends at school would ask me what my father did, I never knew. I just said the word back to them, operations, but I never really knew what it meant. Can anybody use their own words to tell me what you think operations means? I know you're not all that shy. Yeah? To move on, yes. So you're taking the resources that you have to accomplish a task, okay? So I like to think of operations. I'm not the one training teachers. I'm not the illustrator creating images for the books that we print, that we work with the government of Tanzania to put in schools. But I do all the work behind the scenes to make that happen. So I manage our finance team, they pay our vendors, I manage our budget, I put in place all the contracts for people who work on our program, I manage human resources, our IT department, procurement, all those books that we have to buy. I think right now we're about to print $1 million worth of books, and then we have to distribute them to 3,000 schools in Tanzania. So you can imagine, there's a lot to put in place and there's a lot of moving parts. And so that's a little bit about what I do on a day-to-day basis, but it's also hopefully a lesson in how I got here. isn't probably what you would think the way that I got here.
I do have a question. You talked a lot about skills. Do you think skills are more important than subject knowledge?
I think it depends on the career, honestly. Um, I I actually don't have a master's degree or a postgraduate degree, and for a long time, people told me, you need to go back to school, you need to go back to school. I have a university degree. Um, but I always worked hard and relied on the skills from school, from university, and then I gained so much experience through on-the-job learning. Um, I'd say too, the thing of operations is it's very tangible, you know? You see the results of your work very quickly, and that's what keeps me satisfied in my job. The other reason I didn't speak to this, but the other thing I love about my job is that even though like I'm not in schools seeing how our program is helping teachers teach kids to learn, but I know that I hope I'm helping somebody along the way, and that makes me feel a little bit better when I put my head on my pillow at night.
Well, you had taken a risk when you were trying to move from one field to another from taking French. So, as students, are you telling us that sometimes in life we should decide on taking risks and face the outcome of it? Or is there a better way rather than doing that?
It was a big risk. But as a working professional, I spend more time in my office than I do with my family. And I knew in my gut that I knew I was not making the right decision by continuing to study science, to study biology. So I would say there are some times in life you just can't ignore your gut, you know, what you're feeling in your heart. And yeah, life is a bunch of risks, and you won't know until you get to the other side. But if you have a good head about you and you learn what you've studied in school, I'm sure you'll be successful.